Hi, you guys. So today we're gonna talk about the first anime to manage to make us cry. What was the first anime that you cry in? I have been watching anime for going to a decade. I started watching anime when I was 12 years old. My cousin introduced me to it, and I fell in love. Um, my first anime, the first three, he actually gave me three anime to watch, and it was Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece. I was supposed to watch Dragon Ball first, and then Naruto, and then One Piece. Finished them like it wasn't. I finished. I got cut. Like he gave me those anime at the beginning of summer, and at the end of the summer, I was done with Dragon Ball. I was done. I got caught up with Naruto and Naruto Shippuden. I finished Naruto, jumped to Naruto Shippuden, caught up with it, and then watch One Piece. I was watching One Piece at the end of the summer, which means I was watching One Piece at the beginning of the school year, but I finished it soon after that. Um, I feel like Dragon Ball ruined the emotion part for me when it comes to anime because when I started watching anime, it wasn't mainstreams. When my cousin first told me about anime, he told me that if you watch anime, people consider you a nerd. And for me, when I started watching anime, I was like, but I'm not a nerd though. Like, I'm smart, but I'm not a nerd. I'm not that smart. So when I first started watching anime, I was in love, okay? But one Dragon Ball being my first anime, I feel like in some way I could be very emotionless as a person. So Dragon Ball being the first anime I watched really didn't help. Because in Dragon Ball, when your favorite characters die in a show, the high chances in anime is they not coming back. And with Dragon Ball, it was like none of my favorite characters when they die, I didn't get to grieve them, because I knew that they were gonna come back to life. So I never got to be sad. I never got to cry. I never get to feel any type of emotion when any of my favorite character dies in Dragon Ball. So when I moved to watching Naruto, a lot of characters that die in Naruto, I did not cry. Actually, I did not cry at all in Naruto. And I know that the anime is mainstream. A lot of people, I see people reaction, and a lot of people cried, and a lot of death, especially Jiraiya did. It's just like a lot of people were talking about how when Jiraiya died, they were very sad, and I was like, can't relate. It's not because I didn't like him as a character. I did. It's just none of the character. I feel like I just carry that with me because in between of watching those shows, I was watching other anime and other characters that I love died, and I was like, they died. What do you want me to do about it? I would usually sometimes get angry when my favorite character die in anime, but it was never to a point where I was bawling my eyes out. I was like, oh, they died. I mean, I'm not happy, but I'm not sad and crying about it. So now that anime is mainstream, a lot of people are watching those anime I have already watched years ago, and they talking about how the death was so sad, and I'm like, God damn, am I a horrible person? Because seeing those people say they cried about it, and I was like, I did not. It's not because I didn't love the characters. I did. It didn't hit for me. I'm sorry. There was no tears coming out. So a lot of anime I have watched, they have not managed to make me cry. Even the anime where people think, oh, the saddest anime ever fucking created, they did not manage to make me cry at all. Now, some of my favorite characters who died managed to piss me off. I think the first anime that pissed me off when one of my favorite characters died was Akima got killed. Akima got killed. I think that's what it called. And the reason why is because the story introduced this boy. So and don't ask me like, well, the show is named Akima got killed, and there's a girl in the show that's named Akima. Bitch, just because Naruto have the fucking Naruto name is the main character name does not mean I'm supposed to see a name in every anime and think that's have to be the main character. So no, I did not see her as a main character. Her story was basically like an extra in the show. She was introduced. We get to know her. We see her backstory. But every time the show was moving somewhere, it was had to do with the boy. So I thought the boy was a main character. So when he died at the end of the story, that was my first anime where somebody technically he's not the main character, but somebody that I thought was the main character died. So I was like, hold up, wait a goddamn minute. The main character's not supposed to die. Like, I was so pissed. I was like, hold up, he's the main character. He's not supposed to die. What do you mean he's dead? I was pissed. I was angry. I was mad. I was like, fuck no, he's the main character. And then they told me, oh no, the girl's the main character. And that pissed me off even more because I was like, what the fuck you mean? Her story was basically very similar to every characters in the show. She was just a background. Yeah, I got to know her backstory, but it was like any other characters. I got to know their backstories, but it's not making them the full main characters, right? I thought that boy was the main character. We were introduced to him first. We got to see his backstory first, and we got to see his strength grow as the story move on forward. What do you mean he's not the main character? That pissed me off so much that I was like, bitch, that show is good. The anime is good. I would recommend for you to watch it. But it pissed me off so much that I was like, I'm never rewatching that show ever again. Bitch, if you're not on my list to rewatch, I'm not rewatching you. The fuck? The fuck you mean he's not the main character? I'm not rewatching that shit. So no. That show didn't make me cry. It was the first anime I watched that pissed me off because that was the first anime I watched where somebody that I thought was a main character, or I can still consider the main character, died. So I was like, I'm mad. I'm pissed. The fuck was that? So I think I was the beginning of high school when I first watched it, and finished high school a while ago. I've not rewatched it. And that's very rare for me, to like an anime and for me to say I'm not gonna rewatch it. But the moment I watched that shit, I was like, see, and then watch the end and see that guy die. I was like, I'm not rewatching that shit. The fuck? I'm not rewatching it. And I doubt I will rewatch it. Maybe when I'm old and gray, I would sit in my bed when I have absolutely no anime I'm interested in. I would sit my ass down and watch it. But until then, sorry, I got killed. You're not on my list of to rewatch. I'm sorry. The way the author tried me, that fucking pissed me off. But let's talk about the anime. Okay, comment down below which anime you guys think made me cry. Yeah, it was One Piece. One Piece made me cry. Honestly, I would love to meet Idol one day. I would love to meet the fucking creator of One Piece one day and then literally hug this man, because out of all the anime I watch in between of watching Dragon Ball, Naruto, One Piece, you managed to do something no other anime have ever done. And let me tell you something. The first time I watched One Piece, I did not cry. I was more mad at him. I was more mad at, well, technically, I would say Ace's death was, spoiler alert, Ace's death was the first character that got me pissed off over his dad. But since he's not the main character and I knew he was not the main character, so that's different. But Ace's death was truly the first death that pissed me off, when he died. But the first time I watched One Piece, I did not cry. I was so angry. I was so mad at him. I was pissed off. I was like, how could he go back? He could have fucking saved himself. Why? I have rewatched One Piece at least 10 to 11 times now. From the moment I started watching One Piece, when I was 12, from the moment I got caught up with One Piece, I rewatch it every year. I will watch it every year. So I've watched with One Piece so many times, y'all. Every time I'm caught up to One Piece, I go back to just rewatching it. So it's just a part of my tradition to just watch One Piece every year. And I enjoyed it. The first time I watched One Piece, it pissed me off to see Ace's death, but it didn't make me cry. The second time I would watch One Piece, I skipped that. And the third time I rewatched One Piece, that's when I cried. And then in between of watching One Piece, I have watched so many other anime, and they still didn't succeed in making me cry. But One Piece had my third time of watching One Piece. Seeing Ace dead broke me, and mostly because I understood it. I was going through so much, and I was going through so much when I was rewatching One Piece at that time, and it feels like it feels like it was very relatable to what I was going through to see Ace dead. And also it broke something to me because I was like, why did he have to die because of his father? You know, like your reason for killing him was because of who his father was. Somebody he never met. Okay, he never met his father, and your reason for killing him was because of a man he never met. And my question is, how come everybody in the world here, that Gorp, the hero of the Navy, literally raised that boy? And nobody seemed to think, nobody fucking cared. Everybody here that he was raised with Luffy, Gorp grandson, and nobody seemed to fucking care. Make it make sense. Nobody seems to fucking care. They hear that Ace, a lot of people are talking about Ace should have never been born, how it was a fucking curse for him to be born. And then you hear who raised him, and you didn't look at God like, what the fuck? Somebody from the Navy raised the son of the world's greatest criminal. But I guess at the same time, you just get really complained since he was raising two kids that was technically considered a father or considered the world's greatest criminal. Since his grandson and his son is considered the world greatest criminal, and Ace dad is considered the world greatest criminal. And then as you get to know those people, you do realize that it's just a name, it's just a title the Marines give them. They actually are not bad people. So it's just because I only see A's dad backstory, well, not fully, you know, because by the time I was rewatching One Piece, it wasn't in Wano yet. That's when we fully get to see his dad backstories. So for me to see a glance of A's backstory and see who raised him and see what his backstory was as a kid, it really broke me to watch we rewatch and see him dying, because it also made me, instead of being angry at Ace for going back, I couldn't get angry at him because I made the same choice too. I'm definitely the type of person who, you could talk shit about me most of the time, I won't care. But the moment you bring somebody I care about it, the moment you start talking shit about somebody I care about, that's when all bets is off with me. Like, if you start talking shit about somebody I care about, baby, I don't give a fuck. I'm cursing the fuck out of you. I will curse you out. Do not never disrespect somebody I care about in front of me. And that happened. Somebody was disrespecting my big sister, and my sister told me to back down, and I was like, I'm not backing down. That asshole, that, like, it was a female. She literally was starting disrespecting you right in front of me. I was shaking so much that I literally wanted to kill that woman, because it's like, you're not about to talk like that in front of me about my sister. So literally, my sister keep telling me to, like, girl, don't do it. Don't do it. She was at her job, so she couldn't really do much. I know my sister's very similar to me when it comes to fiery. My sister's very fiery. She was that girl that was getting in a fight every day in school. So I know my sister. If my sister wasn't at work, she would have stand up for herself. But because she was at work, she couldn't. So I was like, girl, you not about to talk shit to my sister. My sister was like, girl, don't do it, don't do it, don't fight back. And I was like, no. I cursed the fuck out of her. And then she ended up leaving the store. Because, bitch, the fuck? You're not about to talk to my sister that way. No, you will never be able to talk any type of way in front of me about my family. I could curse the fuck out of them. But you can't. Okay, bitch? So, shh. So when I rewatched One Piece again, it was after that moment happened. And then seeing Ace going back and said, you're not about to disrespect somebody who saved my life, who helped me, somebody I hold very high respect for, a lot of love for. I understand. I couldn't get mad at him because I understand, because I now understand, like, if somebody disrespects somebody you care about, your first instinct is not to, even if people telling you don't listen to them, go back, you know, they only talking shit, they don't truly understand who this person is. It just, for you, is to defend this person, because this is somebody that helped save me, this is somebody I love, this is somebody I admired. I don't know how to go back when you're talking shit about them. I don't know how to ignore it when you're talking shit about them, because my first instinct is just to said, absolutely fucking not. You're not about to do that in front of me, and you're not about to do that in front of me. Think I'm gonna let it go, even if people tell me to let it go. I'm not letting it go. I'm gonna curse you out. I'm gonna curse you out, and I'm gonna have every right to curse you out. So Ace going back, I couldn't get angry at him anymore. I was like, I would do the same. I did exactly the same thing. You know, it didn't involve with me getting killed, but it could have involved with me getting really hurt and my sister getting really hurt, because the person I was arguing with, my sister could have ended up losing her job. And the person I was arguing with was a grown ass person, you know, a grown ass female, you know. She even threatened to beat me up. And I was like, bitch, I dare you. I was like, I fucking dare you. And matter of fact, when I was cursing her out, she was standing up and I was sitting down, looking at her dead in the eyes, bitch, cursing the fuck out of her. Because no. So I understood why Ace did it. And that was the first time seeing Luffy, understood why Ace did what he did. See him protecting his little brother and seeing Luffy reaction to Ace dying really broke me. It broke me. It made me cry. I bawled my fucking eyes out during that episode, and that was the first time I cried doing an anime character death that I loved, because I never really cried for character death in any anime. No matter how much I love the character, I never really cried. For me, I feel like even though I knew those characters was not gonna come back to life, it was like I always had this back in my mind that character don't really stay dead, because the Dragon Ball was like, oh, they don't really stay dead in Dragon Ball. You know, how can I grieve them? It's just like, even though I know they're not coming, this Dragon Ball and every other anime I've watched are completely different, you know, especially when it comes to anime. A lot of the time when you see the character dead right in front of you, they not coming back. So for me, it just, I don't know why. You know, even if when I do rewatch Naruto, I never got sad any of anime characters in Naruto or any other anime I have watched before that I enjoy where my character ended up dying. I never got sad. You know, I don't know what, but One Piece was the first anime to manage to make me cry and made me sad, and ever since that, I can't watch the Ace Death without crying. Every time I would watch One Piece, and I got to that point in the show, I'm always in tears. And the crazy thing is, every time Ace got rescued, I'm like so excited. I'm like, oh my god, yes, 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 yes. And then knowing that an episode or two later, he gonna die. I don't know why that happened. It's like I need to give this man a hug, because how are you gonna make me excited over a character getting rescued when I already know the character's gonna die 2 episodes later? How you do that? How you do that? It's like every time I watch One Piece, every time Ace got rescued, I'm fucking excited. I'm jumping, I'm happy, I'm like, yes, he got rescued, even though I know 2 to 1 episode later, he's gonna die. This man need a bravo, okay, bitch. I wish, I wish like at the end of the last episode in One Piece, we all could be in a theater room, you know, having the premiere of the last episode, and then when the fucking 20 minutes off, we could applaud this man for creating one of the best fucking anime, and for managed to create one of an anime that managed to make me cry when I have watched hundreds of anime where my favorite character died, and any of my characters that I love died, and I still didn't get sad or cried, and he managed to broke me. And no, I did not cry over Mary dying. I'm sorry. Like I said, when I was watching those shows, my emotion to cry over characters dying, it just wasn't something in me. And also, I always see Going Mary as a ship. Yeah, he was part of the Straw Hat, but I never see Going Mary as more than just a ship. I'm sorry, just for me it was the Straw Hat ship Going Mary, but that was it. That was it. I just never made a connection with it to a point where when they were burning it, I had to cry. I mean, Luffy cried, my favorite character cried, but I gotta do with me. But I did not know. Ace is actually the first dead in One Piece that I cried in. And I think Ace is the only death I have cried in One Piece. Yes, Ace is also the only death I have cried in One Piece. It's very rare to make me cry. That's why I have to give the creator of One Piece so much prop, because it's very rare to make me cry. You know, the second anime character to make me cry was Rengoku from Demon Slayer, but that was it. Those I don't really cry in an anime character's death. No matter how sad it is, I don't really cry. So that's it. So please comment under below which the first anime that managed to make you cry. I would love to know that.